we have come to part 4 of our 4 pillars of emotional intelligence in the workplace, at least as I train them in the workplace training that I do. So part 1, or pillar 1, was self-awareness, which is all about understanding your triggers and understanding how you respond and what your response is when you feel stressed. Pillar 2 was self-management, which is then what do you do about that? How do you show up in that? And instead of being complacent, what do you actually do to implement any change needed or any growth needed there? Pillar 3 was social awareness, which I called social skills for adults. And that was largely about how we learn to start to connect with others through things like eye contact, empathy, listening, languaging, and our views, particularly in the workplace, of organizational awareness, the group effort, and being service oriented in the workplace. And pillar 4, which is where we are now, is relationship management. So that is the peak. You can see how those steps build upon each other. We cannot go straight to relationship management and expect that to be easeful or successful long term without starting at self-awareness and working through each step. So relationship management really brings in the communication and the influence, the conflict management, how we manage that, inspirational leadership. So this is all in a workplace context, in a corporate context. It comes down to being a change catalyst and change management in addition. Teamwork and collaboration, no man is an island. Building each other up in relationship with each other and being memorable for the right reasons. So there's a lot in relationship management. And in any kind of relationship, there is so much into it that I couldn't possibly cover in this video. But as far as workplace relationships go and managing workplace relationships, this is the crux of the whole thing. This is really about the peak of the whole thing. It's really about how do we create healthy, effective relationships in the workplace using communication and these skills that we work on in order to insert your need here. It could be increase productivity, or the real reason is in order to ensure that this workplace is not as stressful as it needs to be and can actually thrive instead of sitting in those toxic patterns that can sometimes creep in, whether we'd like to admit it or not, or even if you feel like you have a pretty healthy workplace culture. It's about up-leveling that. It's about sitting back and going, okay, how can we do this better? What can we do better? Because once we become complacent, that's where we lose. Once we decide we know enough and we're not learning anymore and we're good and we've got this, that is where we lose. So this is really this relationship management. Even if you feel like you've got it good, this idea is about how can I do better? How can I connect with others a little more? How can I use this to all of our mutual advantage? And how can I make it so that everyone's on the same side instead of anyone fighting internal battles? That's really, really what it's about. So if anything, let this be food for thought for you. Because sometimes we get caught in the problems and we get caught up in this workplace has this and it's a toxic culture, or it's good but you feel separated and you feel like a disconnect. Even if it is positive, there can still be a sense of disconnect between some people in the workplace or some teams, and this is really just about allowing space for even more growth in that and up-leveling and what that then does, so this whole internal relating to each other, in this program I do also refer to it as internal PR, internal public relations, because my idea of public relations when I went into it to study it at uni, and when I decided to start delivering this internal PR training, my idea of public relations isn't about spin doctoring, it's not about manipulation, it is about how do we relate to each other, to another. It's about relating to another. So internal PR is the internal practice. It's not external, which is about media and external stakeholders. Internal PR is about what's going on within an organization. So to me, it's about how do we relate to each other? How do we use communication? What are our communication processes? What is our culture around communication? Does it get sneered at and laughed at if someone wants to have an open, frank, but also vulnerable conversation or discussion around something? Or is that seen as a threat? Or is it seen as a strength? Because it really is a strength. So relationship management is where we pull all the understanding of values together, personal values, group values, organizational values, and bring them all together to then learn or better our communication within, so that it becomes part of the embedded culture. And embedded culture doesn't mean that it stays the same, even once you've got a positive place in it. Even after this training, it continues to grow. It is adaptable, and that is the beauty of it as well. That is the importance of culture. It needs to be adaptable. It cannot be so static. So again, I hope this has been useful food for thought in how you relate to others at your work, in your workplace, in corporate environments, how you allow yourself to relate to others rather than limiting those relations as well. And I mean in a professional context, allowing a connection to be built professionally in a way that is still genuine can be so powerful and can make all the difference in how you show up at work, how you feel at work, but also how your team shows up, and then beyond, how that then impacts your workplace, your mission, your bottom line, all of that.